Hello and welcome to all our viewers on International Affairs, broadcasting from the SATV's Goulston studio. There are so many news that we should discuss today. In brief, breaking down it in simple terms for you to understand better the situation of the global geopolitical arena. Before we step into the discussion, let me introduce my panel. Here in the studio, I have Dr. Ali Ahmed. He is, of course, former member customs of the National Board of Revenue, as well as an economist. I welcome you on to the program. Alongside, we will have our correspondent from Washington, D.C., Norman Floyd Barnes. I give a very good morning to you, Norman. Really, much of the discussion for today's episode would be how Benjamin Netanyahu has used the term rejecting Donald Trump's Board of Peace that has taken to the news by storm. On the other side, Hamas is reaffirming commitment to completing the second phase of Trump's Gaza plan. Really confusing times as Benjamin Netanyahu rejecting 15-point plan for Gaza. I want to get a remark and, of course, any other updates that you have on your desk as well. Passing it on to you. A very good morning to you, Norman.
Good morning. Yes, today we, to no surprise, shouldn't be anyone's surprise, Israel, through the Prime Minister, has rejected the proposed plan by the Trump administration for Gaza. I feel that there was never a good intentions for Israel to leave the occupied area. They are in Gaza. The military is there. The plan initiated by the peace committee, the peace group, indicated that Israel was supposed to, as part of the conditions, leave the occupied area. Israel has stated through the Prime Minister that they have no intentions of leaving the occupied land, the area, which in essence kills the proposal by President Trump in regards to the development of that area. So we're waiting. It's Monday morning here early. It's only 4 a.m. We're waiting to hear the response from the White House on exactly what that means and how we move forward in regards to Israel and importantly Gaza, and more importantly, what effect does that have over the whole occupation and our involvement in the Middle East, the United States, that includes with Iran and the Gulf states. So right now, the rejection, that's the big word, the rejection. What does that rejection actually mean, and how does it affect our U.S. relationships and our activities in the Middle East? So a lot to behold. I suspect there will be a press announcement today, and that will include comments about Israel rejection, and also comments about the new alliances between Saudi Arabia, Pakistan,
Turkey as well, I believe.
and Turkey.
Right.
More importantly, and particularly Turkey. Right. Yeah, that's the biggest one. How would it affect? So all these things are happening right now, developing as we speak, and what effect that's going to have on our Trump administration, and what pressure, there is pressure, what activities will happen. So some people are stating, some agencies are stating that now the president is forced to show his hand. He's forced to take action. He's forced to make a decision. He's forced to use the military. He's just being pressured. My analysis is that it's opposite of that. I think all this is pre-planned, pre-scheduled, and they know exactly what they want to do. It's just a matter of timing.
Right. Excellent response coming from Norman Floyd Barnes, really opening up the discussion today. A board of peace that had initiated in his first global war against Iran. Just to let you know, and coming into the studio with Dr. Ali Ahmed, the U.S. President Donald Trump is signaling that he is prepared to rely on mounting economic pressure rather than immediately launching a fresh new military offensive. According to an Axios interview, he said, and I quote, "We are low-keying it." And of course, he also added, "We are just watching Iran with its huge inflation and the fact that they have no money." So this kind of comments is coming from someone who really wants to leave the battlefield. He's looking for an exit route. We've been talking about some of the terms that we can use to define Donald Trump, actually very less in the dictionary to define someone who is as unpredictable. So we wait until Washington can turn into a daytime to get the response. But I want to feel how you're seeing these events, Dr. Ali Ahmed, if I pass it to you.
This is a very interesting thing. Iran has been suffering economically, not today. They have been the entire world, I should say, the Western world especially, and these sanctions against Iran, not purchasing, freezing her bank accounts and money and all that. Iran has been suffering, but one must understand, when a nation literally decides to die to the last man if necessary, but will not give in to the pressure of anyone to give up their independence. So Iran's condition is like that. They are suffering, they don't deny. They are suffering because high prices, so because of high inflation, death, starvation, everything is there. But they decided that they will die by the bullet of the enemy or of starvation or whatever it may be to preserve their independence. And Israel has seen it, USA has seen it, and others have seen it too. So this sort of problem is not going to deter Iran from going away to the war, to the defense of their motherland.
Right.
So that is there. There is no reason why they would give up now that the light at the end of the tunnel is seen now. America has offered proposals, they have accepted. Rather diplomatically, they are now in a relatively short while, they are in a good position. Israel is on the opposite side now. But Trump being what he is, I am not very sure how long he can stand with this program. He might change it, but even after we finish this news, Trump might change his stand. But as it now stands, the difficulty is Trump's and Israel's, not
right.
Iran's, despite the sufferings it undergoes during this
situation. Of course, excellent response from Dr. Ali Ahmed. Really, the stories that we've been looking at today, Iran wants to open up the Strait of Hormuz, wants to ease up some of the economic strains that we see. However, the tactic used by Donald Trump, the US president, seems to be to avert to economic pressure. And of course, according to the foreign minister of Iran, Abbas Araghchi, is saying that there must be easing sanctions, there must be an economic ease for Iran to really consider opening the Strait of Hormuz. The strait being the issue that has been a topic of debate, topic of discussions, and how it was weaponized in a manner that would cripple almost all the economies of the world. That is what I want to talk to Norman about. The international benchmark of Brent crude futures for October climbed 1.09% to $84.46 a barrel, while the US West Texas Intermediate futures for September rose 0.84% to $78.84 US dollars as well. So I want to pass it to Norman. It is taking a form of a Cold War-like situation. They are no longer escalating into a military conflict, or at least that is what it seems in the last 24 to 48 hours. Norman, how are you seeing this kind of strategy by the U.S. president?
My opinion is that the strategy introduced by the president and his administration is to basically to weather the storm, to wait it out, to let them dry out, to let them similar what we are doing with Cuba, let the economic situation determine their fate. However, you're dealing with a country that is built on that. The last 40 some years, they built to withstand and deal with this. I think we sometimes think our Western ideology and how we think and how we value and how we view life is the same other parts of the world. We have a low tolerance for inconvenience. We have a low tolerance for not having the freedom to go where we want to go, to say what we want to say, and to do things. That's the way the Western, particularly United States world, we operate. And we also have the ability to go in and pressure, impact our elected officials by the vote to make changes and do things. That is what we are seeing, and that's what we're going to is going to happen in November as we move forward. However, the other part of the world, particularly Iran, they are not built that way. They do not yield to pressure, uh, uh, cost of living. This is normal. This is how the rest of the world they're dealing with that. You're dealing with it all parts of the world. You have to sometimes give up convenience for the point of basic survival. So if you have administration, you have a government, you have a group, Iran, that is built on that, and they know hardship is part of the solution, part of the way, it's very hard to change that. So our Western philosophy does not affect what's happening in Iran. So this thing about waiting it out, well, we'll be waiting it out for the next 1,000 years if we do that. It's not going to happen. And there's a determination collectively that Iran will retain its independence at all costs. They have a high threshold. We do not have a high threshold like that in terms of how many people, how much we can go to. We do not like that. We do not enjoy that inconvenience. They are designed for that. So if we're waiting for them to crack, it's not going to happen. We will get frustrated. We will, the United States and its allies, get frustrated, and they will scramble and they will do something. They will make concessions just because it's an inconvenience. The Iranian strategy is built on that. Let the United States sweat it out. They will not sustain it. Their people will not allow their government to do it, and they will change. So they're using our own strategy against us, basically, that we will give up before they do because we cannot enjoy or understand patience. We want it now, and it doesn't work that way. And particularly dealing with them, they are waiting to wait it out. They're willing to suffer in silence as this thing play out. But to change their way of thinking, it's not going to happen in this decade, this century. We're not going to have an impact like that. They are not built the same way. They are built for tolerance. We are built for convenience. Thank you.
Right. Excellent remarks, especially regarding how the two nations' architecture is in terms of understanding the problem, trying to deal with this problem, going into war between Iran and the United States. Of course, some of the comments are very similar with what Norman just said. The U.S. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy said President Donald Trump has, and I quote, lost this war with Iran, arguing that continued fighting this war is weakening the U.S. while strengthening Tehran. So this is comment coming from a U.S. Democratic Senator. Before I can go on for a break, just to ask Dr. Ali Ahmed, even those in the government positions are definitely commenting that moving away from this war in Iran is the only best solution. On the other hand, Israel not having its way is rejecting Trump's plan. So once again, the rift between those two nations as well. Your comment on how you see Iran, Israel and the US.
The duo, that is Trump and Netanyahu, being what they are, we know them all. You do not know. This itself may be an arranged game, because if you sometimes listen to the late night, in fact in the Western sense it's early morning, say around 2 or 3 in the morning, some in the Western media, if you hear some of the interpretations, very interesting and intriguing. Whenever Donald Trump sometimes plays the game in such a way that there is ups and downs of the crude price, of the petroleum and all those. This is also not without profit when the price goes up, because Trump's business, when he says it falls, his people and his money buys those things in the futures and everything, and then it goes up. So his business, he has a profit. One cannot understand how he is profiting in so many ways. He is a crook of the worst order, in fact. Maybe I should not say this, use this word about a president of a mighty country or any country for that matter. But he is a person who always makes profit. When the price goes down and when it goes up, he profits in either way. So this man,
Right.
so therefore we should not take it so easily. But the problem between Israel and USA or between Donald Trump and Netanyahu is now interesting. If Netanyahu compromises and stop this war, he will be he will be arrested and sent to court and probably in jail because of the pending cases. So he wants to keep the war going.
Right.
And about Donald Trump, if he now keeps the war going, his voter will be going down and he will badly lose the midterm election. So
Yes,
now they have
just around the
clashing
corner.
interests between
Right.
these two. So we don't know what is going to happen.
A rift between the both is being seen. Excellent remarks by Dr. Ali Ahmed as well. Really no compromise seen from Israeli administration, definitely including Benjamin Netanyahu. Just a bit of news, Israeli forces fire machine guns towards Wadi al-Saluk, shell town of Mansouri, with artillery, according to Lebanon, even despite a truce between Lebanon and Israel. With that being stated, it is time for a short commercial break. After the break, we'll be analyzing some of the more important issues as well. I request our audience to stay tuned as well. Welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Panto.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan
opening an open war conflict with them.
Testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing.
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen.
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
Preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With President Xi of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Panto.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan
Welcoming our viewers back on International Affairs. In the studio, I'm joined with Dr. Ali Ahmed, while on Zoom, I'm joined with Norman Floyd Barnes, all the way from Washington, D.C. Really, we were talking about the U.S. position on the worldly affairs, geopolitics in a total, and there is many stories, not only that it is in the Middle East that is concerning. I want to read out the news so that it is better for all of us to understand where we are heading. Greenland, a North nation, Greenland has issued a strong warning to an oil company linked to the U.S. President Donald Trump after drilling equipment was brought ashore without the required government approvals, according to British media. The Telegraph reported yesterday that Greenland's Department of Industry and Minerals said machinery had been landed on the island's eastern coast last month for a planned oil exploration drilling, but the company did not have the necessary permits. Earlier on this year, we've seen commentary regarding Greenland, the rift between US and Denmark, much of which was a huge controversy as the US president is renewed his interest for Greenland. We know as alongside Greenland, it was also Venezuela that the US had intervened in. Important question towards Norman Floyd Barnes. How are you seeing this update, especially regarding Greenland, one of the nations that have been a matter of debate, especially after Washington's stance regarding this island nation? How are you valuing this kind of development, Norman?
Yes, I'm not totally surprised. The company attempting to do business, unsanctioned business, with the anticipation that the Trump administration will get his way about having access to Greenland. That conversation has already been taking place. So what you're seeing is a overambitious company who basically read the tea leaves and said, well, we want to get a heads up if I start our own independent activity, anticipating that initially the United States will have dominion over the area. So the conversation is already out there about the United States involvement in Greenland. However, it was a bit premature. The issue with Greenland and its maintaining its sovereignty is still intact. I do not anticipate that Greenland will use the term sell out and accept the United States attempt to incorporate. I understand there is a great business opportunity there. You're seeing it exactly, the drilling, the anticipated company, overambitious company, attempting to go ahead of schedule. There was the only reason they would go there because they was told that the United States will be in that area, and it's a matter of timing for this to happen. So that's the only reason they went in there. They didn't take the opportunity or the respect to basically get the permission of drilling. They already anticipated that the deal was already done. The deal is not done. It's nowhere near to be done. And so I'm not surprised that a company decided to be independent and be the first to get in there. It's because they've been briefed. So we have to see how this plays out. But Greenland, as I see it right now, is not going to agree. And of course, the European counterparts who supports that is not going to support this situation. And this is just another example of the U.S. attempting to create something that is not available. It's a great dream. It's a great rhetoric and talk. But in reality, there's other things in the world that's more important, and we have to focus our attentions on. Greenland, okay, that's a want. The need is right now internal. We have to here in the United States focus on exactly what the needs are and address these needs before we venture out to the great north.
Right. Once again, excellent responses coming from Norman Floyd Barnes. Really, I wish that there would be any other alternative resource that mankind could use for the energy efficient needs. Today, we see that a project is being funded by Greenland Energy, a Texas-based company, which it's saying that $1 trillion in crude could lie beneath the Jameson land region and has taken a major stake in the exploration project in return for financing. Right. So since then, Donald Trump's stance regarding this important NATO member nation alongside with Kingdom of Denmark has really changed because of such exploration. And on other news as well, we see that in Saudi Arabia there are some tensions going on. The Houthis have attacked a site, a Saudi Arabian oil company, Aramco facility in Jizan. So really, in any territory you look forward, it is the exploration of oil in any forms that people can exploit. Really, there is a lack of innovation when it comes to this kind of sources. However, I want to ask Ali Ahmed in the studio, a big oil company like Aramco in Saudi Arabia is really dealing with damages because they do not see eye to eye with Yemen's Houthis claiming the responsibility once again for this attack. And of course, there is a sad news which I will touch on later. But how do you feel about Saudi Arabia as well as Greenland, the exploration for oil controlling the global narrative?
Well, to me, it is not that Donald Trump has foolishly done it or some American companies. It is a calculated move to try to divert the attention of the world for a little while, but it will not succeed at all. Now that the situation in Iran is so severe that this sort of small attempts to try to send a company over there, for which the entire world was uproar in its protestation against the US and all that. This is an unsuccessful, and I would say to some extent a childish attempt at trying to divert people world's attention or the attention of the Western countries. This is childish simply. It's not going to be of any consequence to the world.
Right.
That is my feeling.
Of course, very important as well really to understand where these countries in the Middle East lie, especially because of the trading routes coming under attack, not seeing eye to eye. No one is looking for an economic prosperity, and that is, everyone has moved away from that ideology of prosperity shared amongst regions. And that is the next question that's coming up. I want to have a very small question with Norman before focusing on our next segment. Norman, I just wanted to ask the tripact that we see between Turkey, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia is being celebrated, it is being recognized by other smaller nations. Kuwait has come down in saying that they support and approve of this very message. So that is somewhat of a development coming between all of these nations. Just to get a comment from you, very big signing ceremony we've seen in Saudi Arabia just last weekend. While the nation tries to make sure that their oil, their tankers are not affected by using the Bab el-Mandeb, they are using a longer route over South Africa, the Cape of Good Hope, adding 20 or more days to the shipping delays as well. Norman, how do you see this? It's a big challenge when shipping lines from across the world are challenged in the face of a war. How do you see these developments, Norman?
Yes, what you're seeing is a result of it's the alternative. These countries have decided, based on the current situation, based on what the relationship we have with the United States and the Western world, they can't rely on them. They are making backdoor conversations. They're making alliances. They're making pacts. They're making groups to protect their own interests by themselves. They're looking, hey, we're going to take over. We have resources, we have means. So let us collectively do something within the neighborhood, within the region, and not be so dependent on the United States to save the day. So they are now talking, and it's very interesting that Kuwait will come out and announce that they support this. So what we're now looking at is the development of a new pack of power, a new group, collective group that will be able to hopefully protect themselves and at the same time have negotiations and agreements to work with Iran. So that is the best prescription, is basically that is a regional issue that need to be resolved in the region, and they can work things out without interference from the West. The word now, the conversation now is basically we can solve this issue with among ourselves. We just need to get the United States out of the region. With that done, the pressure is going to be on the countries like Saudi and UAE, who have close ties to the United States, to impact and influence the United States presence. We already seen where these Saudis and the collective group spoken to the president of the United States, and they basically conveyed that they do not desire the United States to have a military offensive because it would be counterproductive for them. The president listened and he took corrective actions, and now we're going on the economic route versus the military route. That's because of the impact and the influence the impact is going to have over the region. So that means that Turkey, Pakistan, and other countries are going to work together with the collective group to solve the problem, to develop a future plan without the United States being so involved in control. So basically, they will dictate and they will tell the United States what is necessary, and hopefully the United States will listen to them, and we will have a more stable situation, a more controllable situation, one that is conducive to everybody in the region. Right now, it is not conducive having the United States oversee, impact what's happening in the region. It should be done by the people who live in the region. They should determine how they want to live and what circumstances they are willing to tolerate.
Right.
We influence the United States, that region, a lot, but we don't live there. And the issue is the people who live there have to decide how they're going to live and survive. And they are in the process now with this pact. And Kuwait, other countries don't come out and say, "Hey, this is you're doing something great." And eventually, Kuwait want to say, "Hey, can we join the group also?" Because we see something, we see a light at the end of the tunnel. Right now, the curtains are closed. They can't do anything, and under the current relationships they are not looking for a prosperous future. So they have to look at alternatives. And so the alternative is, let's do something different, something new, something that maybe Iran will listen to and work with us on. So the alternative process, the conversation is going on, which is a very positive thing, that something is being done. And we may get out of this situation in the next century.
Right. Thanking Norman Floyd Barnes, really an excellent sum up of these events that have been happening in the Middle East, while in concerns that a shared prosperous future should be looked towards upon. Moving on with our next segment, we've been doing reporting as well as upholding the climate changes from around the world. We know for a fact global warming has raised its flag this year as the El Nino has approached. Let me read out the news for everyone's betterment. Over 1.5 million people have been evacuated as Typhoon Dolphin batters eastern China. Nearly 1,000 flights cancelled in Shanghai as the year's strongest storm triggers torrential rains, flooding, widespread transport disruptions. Turning to the studio with Dr. Ali Ahmed. 1.5 million is a vast number of people that have been evacuated, and not only so in eastern China, we see a similar situation happening in Assam, India's state of Assam. According to Channel News Asia, over 100 people have been dead from the floods in Assam that have affected over 200,000. So all of this really does have an impact on human life. Getting a comment from Ali Ahmed, how you see it?
These are in one world, these floods and cyclones and things like this, the natural disasters. Also this fire in Europe and elsewhere.
Right.
These are all results of the climatic problem. Now that the climate is, the heat of the world and the atmosphere is going up, so forests become easily a victim of forest fire, and cyclones take place, tsunami comes. These are the results of not controlling or not at least keeping an eye on the heat that is increasingly going up in the global thing. And the greatest powers, China agrees but keeps on breaking the rules. India keeps on breaking the rules, and America does not agree. They think it's a figment of the imagination. Right. If these things go on, no proper attention to the climate change and climate conditions in the world, these things will keep on increasing. And Bangladesh by itself is a low-lying country.
It's a delta-lying nation.
Delta, yes. And also it has been estimated that about 40% of the southern part of Bangladesh, which also includes Borishal, will go underwater in about a decade or so if the climate condition is not taken care of. And this is Indian Ocean country. They will go down. Many countries in the world, It has been estimated that 5-6 countries will go underwater in about not a decade's time, in 5 years, 6 years' time. It will continue to be though, and we will continue to discuss in Dhaka because it will be above that. So these big powers, US included, which is the greatest contributor to this global warming, must come forward, and it does not happen whenever there is a president like the present one in US. So there must be political change, but then political change in democratic countries is not permanent. Another party comes and they decide another way. But the world suffers, and climatic heating, warming up. It's not warming anymore. Think of what is happening in the USA now.
With them.
testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing.
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen.
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
Preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With President Xi of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
Simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan?
And where does it go through? Bangladesh and southern portion of India.
Really, we don't have any control over it, but
No.
of course we can change our habits, our bad habits that
How much
really is
can
towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
This is a deltaic country lying to the very south and near the ocean. Floods do not stay here for very long. Floodwaters recede and go down to the ocean, but ocean itself is rising.
Right. Increasingly interesting statements from Dr. Ali Ahmed regarding our region. Just to get a comment from Norman as well before I can go for a break. How you see Typhoon Dolphin, some of the footage that was being played just now, seeing a car being toppled over, the winds being so strong, 1.5 million evacuated, as well as Assam seeing almost 100 deaths from climate-related incidences, flooding. Get your comment, Norman, how you feel about this kind of news.
yes, this news is again, it should be expected. The Earth is evolving, it's changing. The geographical footprint is adjusting. Low-lying areas will be underwater. Higher areas, the Earth is moving. What was dry is now going to become flooded. What was dry is now going to become wet. This is a natural thing, and we. With the technology and the knowledge we have accumulated, we can go to the moon, we can go to Mars, all the spaces. We have yet to understand that nature has its way, has its tendency, and it gives you early warning signals. We choose to ignore and try to outsmart nature. It would never happen. It can't. We have to understand that we have to be able to adjust and mitigate some of these tragedies. Thousands of people should not have to leave an area which they should never been in. There need to be understanding that there are certain places that is not meant to have large amounts of densely populated people. And so we have to make adjustment. If we decide to do that, we have to have situations where we can mitigate that and understand that we have to live with the flow, the epic flow of the river, the water. The water is going to flow. It's not going to be stopped by anything we can do. You got water, wind, and fire. These are things that we have not mastered yet. We try to manipulate, we try to outsmart it, but it.
Right, as Norman was stating that fire, wind, and of course water we cannot control. These are the tools nature uses to humble mankind every now and then. Very important statements coming from both my panelists regarding this very topic. As we head for a short commercial break. Do stay tuned for more on this very program. International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Pantha.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
Opening an open war conflict with them.
testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing.
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV's screen.
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
Preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With presidency of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity.
Welcoming our viewers to the very last segment of International Affairs in a very sad and saddening news coming from, once again, Saudi Arabia. 16 Bangladeshis who were working in Saudi Arabia in a sofa factory which caught on fire has taken the lives of 16 Bengali people, while almost 10 were from the Nagar district here in Bangladesh. Of course, the Ministry of Expats Welfare and Overseas Employment, Ariful Haq Chaudhary, expressed his shock and sorrow over the deaths, and he is of course providing his condolences, as are we. And while we are saying that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh is closely monitoring this kind of situation, providing all necessary assistance. Just to add on here that the Bangladesh migrant workers have sent more than $2.7 billion in remittances last year, with the majority employed in low-skilled jobs. Once again, we must value those who leave our nation, leave their families, who live abroad, and who earn a very minimal age for the hard work that they are doing in building other economies as well. Really, Bangladeshi people should be valued more. And it also opens up a local problem here in Bangladesh, is that much of the talented, skillful bank of population here always is looking forward to better employment outside, almost making much of the population look forward to better opportunities elsewhere. That is what I want to ask Dr. Ali Ahmed. There is a huge market influence regarding this very issue. Much of the talented, skillful work that people know here, they are applying that outside of Bangladesh and hence making a living. How do you see regarding this, and of course the sad news that we hear from Saudi Arabia?
About this going abroad, let us go a little back. Previously, it was the Europeans who went to America. It was the Europeans who came to Asia and especially to Bangladesh, and one of the ambassadors sent by England had to wait for 1 year to meet Emperor Jahangir and was not given the permission to meet him. 1 year in Bangladesh, near Delhi and all those things. So people always think of and try to run to places where there is better opportunities of business and of services. In the present world, with the ever-growing population density of Bangladesh, young generation, especially because older people are too old to go there, younger generation, be it educated or uneducated, dream of going abroad for a better life, for better salary and all that. Although, as we all know, you know, I know, and Floyd Bernard himself also knows, going abroad, you may be from a very rich country, but you have to do your own cooking, clean your own house, run your own car. You don't have the comfort there that the middle class or the upper class have here. but still they want to go. I know some of the boys from even girls of higher class in Bangladesh, they are unwilling to come back despite all these pains that they have to undertake there. It is because of the social conditions and the desire to live in a rich atmosphere. So this, I am not surprised. If you have more education in Bangladesh and truly talented people, most of them will go to Western countries. But the Western countries have become very nervous. They are now putting up one barrier after another in order to be able to stop this influx of workers, whether educated or otherwise, from these poorer countries to the rich countries. But this is like water, it flows from the upper class to the lower class. But in human history, it goes to upper economic countries from the lower economic countries. The only solution is to have a proper education system here, improve our schools, colleges and everything here, so that our own people get their own job and improve our countries. This way the money is being sent, but as you said in your beginning of this, that they are working for the development of others and get a pittance as a salary. But that is also good because they don't have anything here. So they have a house here, they buy some lands and everything, but this is no good for the country. The government and the state must try to improve our education and social standards. Otherwise, there is no solution to this.
Really very important sum up of this kind of issue for local governance as well, how we must protect our youth so that they can serve our nation in turn of serving others as well, mentioned by Dr. Ali Ahmed. Thanking you for joining here on this very program, offering your insights and valuable opinions regarding worldly issues. Also thanking Norman Floyd Barnes for joining all the way from Washington District of Columbia. I want to finish by mentioning the importance of today's date, August 10th. In this very day, in 1846, over half a century ago, the Smithsonian Institution was established by an act of the U.S. Congress and signed into law by President James K. Polk on this very day, following a large financial gift from the British scientist James Smithson to the United States. Today, the Smithsonian Institution offers the various museums and architecture they have all over the United States, preserving American history. With that being stated, I am Shamsul Alam Panto signing off on International Affairs.